Good afternoon, guys, from the beautiful North Coast here in Chagrin Falls, Ohio. Hey, guys, I got some great stuff for you today. Many of you guys are always wondering what you can do to earn more income. Maybe you just lost your job, maybe you're unemployed, maybe you just don't know what to do in life. Well, guys, that's good because today I want to go over 5 things with you, 5 areas that you can start fairly inexpensive to get out there again in the workplace and earn some money, much better income than minimum wage to boot. Guys, the first one I want to go over today is landscaping. Now you may say, Dave, how do you know anything about landscaping? Guys, I've spent 25 years in landscaping and I know everything about it. And I know that I got into it now it's probably 30 some years ago, guys. I got into my landscape profession with a $5,000 credit card loan. Now, you can get into this very inexpensively simply by getting a lawnmower, basically, and putting it in the trunk of your car. Now, guys, try and visualize this. I'm in a 1967 Cadillac Coupe 2-door. I've got a lawn boy mower in the trunk of this car, and I've got bags of grass in the back seat of my car. That's how I started out, guys, and I built that company up pretty big to where we were a 7-figure company, and I was making 6 figures at the time when I got rid of the company. But landscaping is a great way to get into the marketplace again, a great way that you can start for cheap to get yourself going again. And guys, it's basically very simple. I mean, you go get yourself 10, 20, 40, 50 landscape customers, that you're going to cut their yard every week. You charge them 30, 40, 50 bucks, whatever the going rate is for that area, and do the math. It adds up pretty quick. The average landscape company owner right now, pretty much across the board, is making about $50,000 a year. So, you can see it's not too bad of a deal. And remember, it's seasonal. So they're out there cutting grass from, April through November, and then they're off the winter, or they go and do another thing, snow plowing. That's another one I could have added. And they go and make extra revenue with snow plowing. But the average landscape owner is making approximately $50,000 a year. And what does that translate to? Well, that's about $35 a man hour to $45 a man hour, depending on your location, averaging per hour. So you can see it's very lucrative. You can do a lot of different things from the landscaping. You can go off into mulching beds. You can go off into pruning. There's so many ways to make money in landscaping. And one of the biggest arguments today about the whole landscape scene is the fact that people say, well, Dave, there's too many people in it. Well, yeah, there are a lot of people in it, but they don't know totally what they're doing. Remember, guys, an expert is you knowing something a little bit more than someone else. So here's a quick tip if you're going to get into landscaping, something you can do that I did 30 years ago that revolutionized the landscape industry in my area. Everybody was going out putting flyers in a mailbox, trying to get a job, driving door to door, putting a flyer in a mailbox, a generic flyer, and they just didn't know, it's in there with 10 other flyers. Let's get serious. So how do you compete in the spring when you're trying to start your own landscape company and you've got all these flyers in the mailbox? How do you stand apart? I'm going to give you my secret that made me famous back then. Here's what I did. I went to a neighborhood that, say, had 150 homes, typical suburban neighborhood, typical half-acre lot. One thing that you'll notice, guys, is a lot of the lots are very similar in size. If they're, 5,000 square feet, they're all pretty similar. Some have more shrubs, some have less shrubs. So what I did was I made a custom flyer to make my customer think that I actually was on their property and already gave them a quote. Do you see what I'm saying? Because now they have the exact price. Now here's how I did it. I knew all these lawns were about the same. So I basically put in a price at the time. This is 30 years ago. But I put in, we will cut your grass, trim your bushes, edge your driveway, blow the patio off. All this included in a package price. And then I wrote it in by hand, $140 a month. Okay, so now it looks like I was on their property and I actually spent the time and actually knew that exact property was going to cost $140,000. Now, obviously, you and I both know that $140,000 may be a little over on some properties and maybe a little under on some properties. But when they saw that handwritten $140 a month. It set me apart from everyone, and I picked up that entire neighborhood, guys. I was on every single street in that neighborhood and did roughly, probably at the time, 70% of all landscape jobs in there was done by my company because I jumped ahead. I knew how to beat the competition. I knew how to do something untraditional and out of the box, and that's the way you guys got to think. Normal thinking isn't going to do it anymore, guys. You got to be on top of your game. You've got to come up with things that are different, that will set you apart constantly. And what was good yesterday may not be good today, but I can guarantee you, you go out and use that, what I just told you, what I did 30 years ago in landscaping, you will still come out on top, because even today that hasn't been really used. And I used it in my area. Maybe it wasn't used anywhere else. That's a great way to get in, guys. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the second business, window washing. Okay, this is a funny story. I used to do a lot of celebrities. Well, not a lot, but I did several celebrities in my landscape company, and I don't want to mention any names, but they were big time people making millions and millions of dollars. And it would be funny. I would pull up in front of their house. Now remember, this is after many years of being in the industry. I would pull up with a $40,000 truck, $5,000 trailer, all the mowers and equipment. Let's say $100,000 of equipment I was pulling up in front of that yard to make $50 to cut the grass. Now here's what's funny. My buddy pulls up next to me to the same house that I just made $50 with $100,000 of equipment pulling up, okay? My buddy pulls up with his broken and down van. He gets out of the van with a bucket, a few rags, and some soapy water. He goes in that same house that I'm working at and makes $450 to clean the windows on that house inside and out. Guys, it's hilarious. This guy walks up with a bucket and rags, no overhead. I come in here with employees, $100,000 of equipment to make $50. He pulls up, makes $450, guys. Everyone doesn't think about window washing every day, and that's the thing. We need to start thinking about window washing because, guys, it's such an easy thing to go out there and advertise yourself, especially with social media. You could just go on Facebook today, tell all your friends that you're in window washing now. You're going to be out there and give them an extra deal. If they sign up today, they get 20% off. Whatever you want to talk about, guys, but it is such an easy thing to get into. And talk about making, $8 an hour, whatever, flipping hamburgers, where you can go in with your own window washing business, remember the bucket and rags, and now go to a house and make anywhere from $150 to $450 or more for one house, guys. Imagine you just having to go to one house to clean windows in a week when you were working all week to make the same amount of money. Window washing is a great thing to get into today, guys. I really highly suggest that. The next one I want to talk about is basically a housekeeper or office cleaner. Okay, that's a great thing to get into too, guys, because all you got to do is have some basic knowledge of the cleaning industry. You always start from the top and work your way down till where you're vacuuming last, and then you walk out the door. That's the thing. Cleaning people... well, first of all, I wanted to tell you, window washers make on average about $20 to $30 an hour if you want to average it out. So basically during the week, they're making anywhere from $20 to $30 an hour, which translates into about $60K a year, guys. Back to the house cleaning. A housekeeper earns anywhere from $10 to $25 an hour depending on where you are and how good you are. But it's a great thing to get into, guys, because all it requires is your car. Because most of the time you go to the house you're cleaning, they have all the cleaning supplies. But many people today, they bring their own supplies and they go in there and clean the house. But you are your own boss. You determine when you're going to do it. You determine how many homes you're going to clean. I mean, guys, this is another great entry-level business to get into. Maybe you don't want to clean somebody's house. Well, then get into commercial cleaning. Go in afterwards and vacuum offices out or whatever. And guys, you may say, well, Dave, I'm worried about the competition. I don't know how I would get into these businesses. You got to think outside the box, guys. Here's something I would do if I was doing this today. I would go up to an office building and go in there And they may say, well, we already have somebody cleaning our offices. What I would say is, hey, I'll tell you what, we are a cut above. Let me do this for free for 1 week. Let me clean your offices for 1 week and see if you don't notice the difference. And then you will see that my pricing is better than the competition. And I will give you these extras, whatever they may be, whatever you come up with. But guys, when you offer to do something for free for somebody, guess what? Yeah, no one likes working for free. But if you offer that, it shows them how serious you are about doing something. So next time you're trying to get into something, offer to do it for free, whether it's a week, a month, whatever you have to do, but give them that option. You know why? Because now the business owner feels no pressure. There's absolutely no pressure because they are working for free, and if I'm not satisfied, I'm not paying. I have no risk whatsoever. And that's what people like. They like absolutely no risk. So that's a great business to get into, guys, is housekeeping and office cleaning. The next thing I want to talk about, too, is Uber and Lyft. Now, you may be thinking, oh, come on, are you serious? I'm not going to make any money of that. Isn't everybody in Uber and Lyft? Guys, there's plenty of room in Uber and Lyft. What a lot of people are doing right now that I found out, because I utilize this service a lot, I found out that many drivers now are very smart. They're doing Uber and Lyft. If they're not getting the drives on Uber, they're calling in on Lyft and saying they're available and getting them on Lyft. They're doing one or the other, and then they're seeing which one they like better, and then they end up with going with the best one, which I hear happens to be Lyft. Even though I'm an Uber user, Lyft seems to be the way to go because of the profits are a little bit better. The tips are better because, as you know, Uber started out with no tips being able to be added onto the app, which they've changed because Lyft. Those drivers are making, on average, about $20 an hour. And the bad thing, though, is when you subtract a lot of the tolls and things that will come out of that $20 an hour, in some bad markets, it can get you all the way down to about $10 to $11 an hour. And you got to figure, you've got wear and tear on your vehicle. So may not be the best thing, but if you're in between jobs, you need something to hold you over till you get something else, Uber and Lyft is not a bad way to go. It's a way to keep you busy, keep you out there in the job market, understanding meeting with people, keeping yourself acclimated to the business life, and it's not so bad. So if you need to, Uber and Lyft is not a bad thing to get into. And like I said, it's about $20 an hour. The last one I want to talk about today is something I've also done myself. It's basically power washing and deck staining. And that is going to average anywhere between $30,000 and $50,000 a year of gross income in a season. Doing it yourself with one or two other guys, whatever. It's a great business to get into. Doesn't really require much experience. Usually the customer gives you enough money, you get half down, so you have the money for the stain to put on the deck or whatever. And today there's some great stains available to set you apart from everyone else. I know One Time Wood is a great selection. They're out here in the great Northeast Ohio area, and you can look them up. Just look up One Time Wood online or whatever, and you will find that this stain is incredible because it lasts 7 years when everyone else's stain lasts 1 or 2 years. So that's another thing. You can offer a premium product to set yourself apart from your competition. Everybody's out there using Thompson's water seal. Really? I mean, it costs next to nothing, but it wears off just about in less than a year, really. You won't see that water beading anymore. One Time, on the other hand, gives a 7-year guarantee. So see what I'm saying? You offer some premium products that will set you apart from everyone else. One of the things I wanted you to understand as well about what all these things have in common is several things. All of these jobs are basically hands-on. You can do them, they're hands-on, it's you getting out there, doing this stuff, very little money, and it's hands-on work, okay? It's physical labor, it's hands-on work. The other thing is there's very little experience needed with any of these things. Anybody can go out and do any one of these things that I just told you. No matter what skill level you are, any one of you can do all 5 of these areas that we talked about today. Any one of you. It's that easy. One of the other things I want to talk about, what you wanted to hear, was they're all low cost to get into. Obviously, window washer, what does it take? Your car and a few rags and stuff? So, I mean, it doesn't cost virtually anything. Probably the most expensive one there would be landscaping, because you'd have to have a lawnmower. Or power washing, you'd have to buy a power washing unit, which aren't very expensive. You can get them used. You can find great deals on eBay. You can do all kinds of great things. But they're all very low cost to get into. And obviously, if you're out of a job, cash is kind of king right now, and you don't have a lot of money to start something. These are ways that will get you back on your game. You can use them as a platform till you get back to your game, till you get back to what you were created to do. So don't feel any remorse or that you're less than someone else because you're doing some of these jobs. Some of these people, guys, are making a lot of money. I know friends of mine that are in the landscaping business, and they're making big money. Some of them $500,000 a year income. So don't feel too bad for them. As a matter of fact, Uber, I just met an Uber driver when I was in San Francisco the other day, and I asked him what he was making, because I always like to find out this kind of stuff. I'm a little nosy. But I asked the Uber driver what he was making in San Francisco, and he told me the last year he had made $100,000. So guys, some of these guys can make a lot of money. It's what you do with it. It's, are you willing to go the extra mile? Are you willing to set you apart from everyone else with some of the tips I just gave you? Guys, in today's economy with so many people and so much of a global economy, you have to set yourself apart from everybody, and it has to be a substantial distance from everybody, because if you're just a little bit above someone else, it's not going to happen. You got to come up with creative ways to make yourself stand out. The last thing I wanted to talk about that these things had in common was basically, this is good because we talk about this, they're eBay and Amazon resistant. Yes, because you are doing them and they were services. They are not influenced by eBay and Amazon. eBay and Amazon will not take away these service businesses. eBay, at least right now, in the near future. eBay and Amazon also will not take over restaurants, or they won't take over selling yourself and your knowledge. That's why I like these things, guys, because I'm thinking 10 years out all the time. I'm not thinking about just tomorrow. I'm planning for 10 years from now, when eBay and Amazon is going to basically wipe every small businessman out, because the guy with the most money and the smartest know-how is going to take over whatever he's selling. I mean, whether it's shoes or shovels or whatever it may be, whoever has the most money to buy the most product and get it out the door and does it in the way eBay and Amazon wants you to do it will be king. So if you were once a local shovel salesman, you can kiss your job goodbye, because of the fact if you don't have the money to stay up above someone else who can outbuy you, outsell you, offer it cheaper than you can do it, guys, you're going to be looking for a job. So what I'm trying to tell you is set yourself up for the future and go with either service businesses, food industry, or selling yourself. Seminar promotion, what I do, coaching, this kind of stuff. These are things that will not be outdated in the very near future. When I say very near future, I'm talking about in the next 10 years. I don't see any risk at all, virtually, to these type of businesses. So guys, I hope that helped you today. It's been a great time spending with you. I love hanging out with you and spending, time with you, talking about all this entrepreneurial stuff. I love it. It's my passion. As you know, it's all about helping you, all of us working together to rise up and become something in this world. So guys, enjoy the week. Have a great time. God bless this wonderful nation. Hui ho, till we meet again. Dave Fritz signing out.